Alright, what up guys? We're back at it with our How to Play Morrowind series. In the last video, we just left off with our character creation. We also did a little bit of money making, and of course, it is thunder and lightning right now, so hopefully you guys can hear me over that. But yeah, we got some money making going on. We bought some equipment for ourselves. So we got a pretty good start to the game, but we are still pretty noobish. We still have very low skills. We're still only level 1. And even though we have equipment, our equipment isn't like super great or anything. We got like the best thing we could, which is like, you know, that's something I guess. But you're going to find better equipment in different cities. You're not really going to find good equipment in Seydenine. I think technically if you have heavy armor, you might be able to hook yourself up with some guard armor. The bottom line is you probably don't have very good equipment once you get off that boat. Even if you do what I just did with the money making and, you know, getting some equipment from Carlyle's trade house, you're probably still not going to have very good equipment even after all of that. But the bottom line is that you are going to want some equipment that is better than what you walk out that door with. So obviously I bought medium armor and a longsword. Depending on what your armor skills are, you might want different armor. Depending on what your weapon skills are, you might want different weapons. But the main important thing is that you are not going out there with the iron dagger as somebody who is not specialized in short blade, because that is one of the first major mistakes that anybody makes in this game. They will grab that dagger off the table. They're like, sweet, I got my first weapon. Obviously the game wants me to use that weapon, right? And they'll go running out and they'll find something to kill, because for some reason people play video games just to kill stuff. And that's like the first thing anybody wants to do when they play a game like this. And you'll notice we are swinging at air. Now we did actually land a hit and did actually do some decent damage. But you'll notice there that we did a whole lot of swinging at nothing there because, well, I'm not skilled with the dagger, so it doesn't really hit all that often. But that does also bring up another good point, that as bad as it can be, it's still not even that bad. I mean, you notice I have a short blade skill of 15. Technically, it could be worse. We could have a short blade skill of 5, and we would have struggled even harder than we just struggled there. But generally speaking, you're probably not going to be that low in your dagger skill. It is possible, but you're probably going to be more like 10 or 15 in your dagger skill, depending on what you choose as your starter class. But anyways, we compare that to using the correct weapon, which does more damage and has a higher chance of hitting. Well, as you can see here, we didn't miss once. We killed him in one hit, and there weren't any problems. Now, for the sake of this demonstration, we're just going to resurrect this guy real quick. So we're going to pull out the dagger real quick, and we're going to go for an even more worst case scenario here. Now, what you'll notice here down at the bottom of my screen is that as I run and jump around, that little green bar there starts to kind of go down, doesn't it? Now, this green bar is called your fatigue, and it does exist in Skyrim as stamina, but it doesn't affect you the same way that it affects you in Morrowind. And even Oblivion has fatigue, but even Oblivion, it's not the same as in Morrowind. So in Morrowind, your fatigue basically affects everything that you do. Your fatigue is going to make it so that you cast spells worse, so that you hit less often, you get hit more often, you get stunned when you get hit, all that sort of shit. If your fatigue is low, all sorts of bad stuff will happen to you, especially in battle. You see how low my fatigue is? And now I'm not landing a single blow, right? I mean, we could be sitting here swinging all day, and we finally did land a hit. But you see, it took about 20 air hits before I got a hit in, and that's because my fatigue was so low. And generally speaking, this is going to apply even if you are using your best weapons. We'll see, I'll probably end up just fucking hitting this guy first hit anyway. But yeah, you see, first hit was an air hit because my fatigue was low. Now again, it's not necessarily going to be detrimental, as you can see. Even with low fatigue, even with low weapon skills, I still managed to kill a mud crab without dying. So, I mean, even with its like nuances, it's still not that difficult of a combat system. I think people just have like a baseline fundamental issue with swinging a sword at something and having it visually look like it connected with whatever you hit, but having it not like actually connect. It's just like, I don't know, it's like some sort of like mental thing that like some people just can't deal with. But it's like, bro, you're gonna have to find a way to separate the graphics of the game from the mechanics of the game. It's just bottom line, you're gonna have to separate those two. I mean, no matter how realistic a game is, there's always going to be some disconnect between what happens on screen and what happens like mechanically within like the coding of the game, you know what I mean? I mean, even in Skyrim, like you could shoot an arrow through somebody's head. They could have an arrow sticking out of their forehead and they will not be dead. They will not even be close to dead. Like they will lose like a fraction of their health if they're a high enough level and you're a low enough level. Like literally it's the same thing in Skyrim, just slightly different. Like in Morrowind, you swing and it doesn't hit. In Skyrim, you land a fucking arrow in somebody's skull and they like, it's like nothing happened to them, right? So I mean, like the same shit exists in pretty much every game, just in like a slightly different way. But regardless of what game you're playing, there's always going to be some sort of like graphical thing that doesn't line up with the mechanical thing, right? Like even in shooters, it's like, okay, you know, I'm playing you know, Halo on legendary difficulty. Like, okay, I unloaded an entire sniper rifle fucking magazine into somebody's skull. You would think they would be dead, but that's not always the case, right? Because like what lines up graphically doesn't always line up mechanically. Like you could shoot 100 fucking rockets at somebody in Fallout New Vegas and they're not dead because they're a boss and they're not supposed to die that easily. Even though they're literally a human fucking being and you just shot 100 rockets at them, they're not dead. Why? Because what happens graphically does not always line up with what happens mechanically, because games are games, not real life. So anyways, that's kind of like a short gist of the combat system and basically how you should tackle it in this game. I think we can get rid of this little knife now since we don't really need it. But really, I just wanted to show you guys like how ineffective a weapon can be if you are not trained in it. Particularly how ineffective, you know, the dagger specifically could be if you decide, hey, this is probably a good first weapon, even though I'm not a short blade major skill, right? Or minor skill even for that matter. But yeah, regardless, that's something that you definitely need to keep in mind when you first start this game. First of all, don't just go out and start killing stuff because you're just kind of like signing yourself up for trouble there. Second of all, though, if you do go out and decide to kill stuff, make sure you're actually equipped correctly. Like, I cannot stress enough like how stupid it is to go out using a weapon that you're not trained to use. It just doesn't make sense. But anyways, though, when you've landed in Satanin, you may be wondering, well, now what do I do, right? If I'm not allowed to just go out and kill stuff because I might die, well, what do I do then, right? Well, there are some little small quests you can do in Satanin that are not, they don't really require any sort of combat or special skills or anything. They're very simple quests. I think the first one, you talk to this guy, Hrisker Flatfoot. So we'll do some of these super easy Satanin quests real quick, just to kind of give you guys a quick little quest tutorial, right? Why not? Not that quests really need tutorials, but unlike in Oblivion and Skyrim, there are no quest markers. So that's something that you're gonna have to get used to. And you know, there's no voiceovers for dialogue. There are, you know, random voice snippets here and there, obviously, but you know, stuff like this is not going to be read to you, so you're going to have to read it if you want the information. Keep in mind, though, that most of the important information is going to show up in your journal, and most of your journal entries are going to be these blue little things that you click. So anyways, I'm going to give you guys an example of not reading it, actually, because why not? So we'll do it, thanks. So I have no idea what he said, but we can open up the journal here. Okay, so here's the first thing about Hrisker Flatfoot. So Hrisker Flatfoot asked me to do him a favor. He believes that Fargoth has been hiding money from the Imperials, and he'd like to know where it is gone. If I will work for him, he will give me a share of the bounty. I agreed to help him. I'm supposed to keep an eye on him from atop the lighthouse in town and watch where he goes. Hrisker believes I should watch him at night. I'm not supposed to approach him at any time. I should then retrace his footsteps and find out where he's hidden the money. When I found it, I should report back to Hrisker. So, simple enough. Read the directions. They're pretty simple if you actually read them. You shouldn't really need a quest marker for a quest this simple anyway. Not to say that the quests don't get more complicated and you won't be sitting there thinking like, damn, I wish I had a quest marker. But generally speaking, at least, what the fuck is going on here? Huh. Generally speaking, though, if you actually read everything that they tell you and you kind of like comprehend it correctly, you shouldn't have any problems with most quests if you just like actually follow the directions. But anyway, here's the lighthouse, obviously, right? We're gonna go to the top of the lighthouse, and like this isn't really like the point of this video to be like, here's how you do this quest, but like, you know, the main point here is like, do some quests in Satanin. Like get a hang of the game before you just go running out there and killing shit. Like do some quests. Hang out in Satanin, talk to people, figure things out before you just go running out and trying to do like the craziest thing you can think of, right? So anyways, we're gonna sleep for a while until it's nighttime. Uh-oh, there's Fargoth. What's he doing? I already know where he's gonna hide. He hides the money in the stump, by the way, but you do have to watch him actually do it. See, that's the thing. Somebody might go like, oh, well, fuck this. I'm just gonna look up how to do the quest. They might look up like, oh, he hides it in the stump, and then they'll go try to look in the stump. They'll be like, what the fuck? The money's not there. This quest is broken. It's like, well, if you read the quest prompts and your journal entries and all that stuff, you might just find that they tell you exactly what to do and where to go. Dude, this guy really does take his sweet time, though. Holy shit. Okay. He is placing the money. We're gonna wait for him to walk away. There we go. Bub's your own cool. Probably not gonna steal his ring again. He keeps losing that thing. We got 300 gold. And with quests in Morrowind, you usually have like several options to kind of like take care of the quests. And in this one, you could straight up just decide not to go back to Hriscar Flatfoot. I don't think there's really any reason to give him the money. Like, you can just keep all of it.
Don't press your luck.
Yeah, especially since he only gives you 100 of it. It's pretty fucking dumb. And I don't think he actually has any other quests for you or anything. Like, I don't think this NPC has any other purpose in this entire game other than that one quest. So it's worth noting that, like, you can do the quest and keep the gold and not give any of it to him, and it straight up just doesn't fucking matter because it's hardly even a quest at all. There's no, like, follow-up quest. There's no, like, oh, you should join our guild. There's nothing. You don't get anything for it other than a share of the gold, so you might as well just keep all of the gold since you did all of the work, right? But anyways, that's a quest. I think some of these other guys might have quests as well. But one thing you'll notice is that he does have training. Now, one thing that differs from actually Skyrim and Oblivion, I don't think Skyrim had any skill trainers at all, if I remember correctly. Oblivion did have skill trainers, but it only let you train skills 5 times per level. So every level, you have 5 times that you can level up any skill. And I don't mean like every skill gets its own 5 level ups. I mean like you can level up long blade 5 times, or you can level up long blade, you can level up block, you can level up heavy armor, light armor, and you know, whatever the fuck, and then you're done. You get 1 of each level and you're done. In Morrowind, however, the only thing limiting you and your training is the amount of money that you have, which is why it's extremely, extremely important to get money-making methods down real quick in this game. Luckily, money-making is pretty easy. As you saw with the whole Carlyle's trade house here, all you kind of have to do, for at least the beginning of the game, is sort of just steal everything that isn't tied down and sell it. So like you can go into like anybody's house really. In Satanin in particular, because these people are secluded in their house, like you can kill these people, not get a bounty, and then steal all their shit and sell it. I don't really want to kill all these people. Or maybe I do. Make sure they don't have any quests first, I guess. So yeah, nothing special here. So we could probably just kill this person, right? See how easy combat in Morrowind is if you use the correct weapon and you don't like be completely exhausted when you try to do combat? It actually works out pretty well. Anyway, this person doesn't really have too much stuff. One thing that is interesting to note is that in Morrowind, you can wear a lot of clothes and armor. So like, even though I'm wearing pants, you can see I can still wear a skirt. Even though I'm still wearing a shirt, I can wear a cuirass, that sort of thing. The only thing it doesn't apply to is shoes and boots, or gloves and gauntlets. So everything else you can wear multiple of, and you can even wear a robe on top of everything. So you can wear pants, skirts, and a robe all at once, and then still have your greaves and your cuirass as well. Which means you can do some pretty sick fucking enchanting in this game, by the way. But yeah, one of the easiest ways to make money in this game is to straight up just go house to house and steal quite literally everything. And I just remembered I never fixed my strength. What was it before? I think it was 30 actually. That's why I'm doing so much damage. That makes more sense. I never fixed that. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, those fights with the mud crabs probably would have been slightly more difficult. Not too much. I mean, you do more damage with more strength, but like it's not like so much more damage with a fucking iron saber that like it really would have made that much of a difference. I feel like we might as well pop back out there and see how much of a difference it makes, because why not? But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go house to house like I normally would, but I just kind of wanted to show you that this is, again, another good way to make money early on in the game before you start getting into like alchemy and that sort of stuff. Because once again, I chose alchemy as one of my minor skills, I think it was. It was either minor or major skill, but that's definitely going to tie into money making here shortly. I don't know if we'll get to it in this episode or not, but the main reason for that is money making, and I will be showing you guys the best method of making money in this game, so don't worry. But anyways, we're just going to go through, sell all the shit we just stole. All of it. Make sure you don't sell your directions to Caius Cascades or anything like that. Also, don't sell your cash stack either. It's always kind of a silly one. I don't know why it lets you sell that. Oh, he can't even afford it. What the fuck, dude? What have I done?
All right, I'm intrigued. Go ahead.
Good enough. So anyways, though, I wanna hit up this little mud crab again, see what happens. And we'll deplete our fatigue too, just so we get like the full experience here. All right, here we go. Let's see. Oh yeah, we still do a lot of damage though, so we're still pretty good. So yeah, not too bad. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to do in this town other than ransack people's houses, maybe kill them for a tiny bit of experience, that sort of thing. But once you are done with that, you're going to want to follow the directions that you were initially given from, who is that again? Celis Gravius, that's the one. So you're going to want to follow those initial instructions that you were given, and you're going to want to go to the town of Balmora. And there are two ways to get there. You can just walk there, which I don't necessarily not recommend it, but at the same time, you probably shouldn't walk there if it's your first time playing the game. Generally, walking places is going to be good because you're going to make a lot more discoveries, you're going to fight more things, gain more experience, that sort of thing. But kind of the point of this is, like, you know, not getting in over your head when you're first starting out on this game. So ideally, you're going to want to take the Stilt Strider here. And you remember he gave you money for your travels as well. So you should be able to get to Balmora with no problems at all. I mean, it only costs 15 gold to get there, and he gives you 87 at the beginning of the game. So you should be able to get there as soon as you walk out those doors. So don't fret. Once you are in Balmora, and if you are looking for Caius Cascades right away, he's gonna be on this other side here, which is what, the east side, I guess? So he's gonna be at the northern part of the east side of town. I guess you could almost call it the northeast part of town, right? At the very, very northeast corner of this map, in the very, very back, there is Caius Cascades' house. Now, I don't know how you guys like to play your games. I tend to use the console command a lot, particularly for fast travel, because there is no fast travel in this game other than the Stilt Strider that we just took, and then like there's Mages Guild teleports too. So you can teleport between the Mages Guilds. But you can also center on cell if you have the PC version, and you can use that to basically teleport anywhere in the game. People can look at it as cheating if they want. I look at it as my time is more precious than fucking walking across vast landscapes in video games. So I teleport where I want to go, right? But the reason why I mentioned this, because it is worth noting that your Balmora COC will take you directly here. So if you take, oh god, that's right, I have really low acrobatics. I shouldn't have done that. So if you have the inclination to COC, it will take you literally right here, so that's nice. So anyway, here's Caius Cascades' house. You're gonna show up here and you're gonna give him his package. So you were told to report to Caius Cascades. There's a package for me, give it to him. It's very interesting, blah blah blah. And then he asks if you're ready to follow his orders, which I don't think it really matters if you say yes or no right now. I don't really know why it even gives you an option. You might as well just say yes. It's not like anything happens to you if you say no, other than the fact that you get some cool stuff, right? Like if you say yes, he lets you use training, so it's like, why would you say no? But anyways, it is worth noting that when you first come to Caius Cascades, the first thing he tells you. So again, if we're keeping tabs here on what the game has told us so far, we started out the game, and the first thing that the game told us was to go to Caius Cascades, deliver the package, and just do what he says, right? We followed those instructions, which were very clear and obvious instructions from the game. We followed those instructions, got here, no problems. We didn't die getting to Caius Cascades because we followed the instructions. And what is the first thing Caius Cascades says to us? Let's looky here. He says, good, welcome to the service, novice and tire melon. Now, you belong to the Blades. We're the Emperor's eyes and ears in the provinces. You can use my bed if you need to rest. So there's your first benefit. You are given a bed to rest in. You will notice that my health is low, and I do not have any potions or food, but I can rest. If I rest in a bed, my health will regenerate, unlike just simply waiting around. So he says you can use my bed if you need to rest. Awesome. But leave my personal stuff alone unless I say otherwise, okay? And then he says, if you like, you can improve your modest skills with our Blades trainers now. Or if you're in a hurry, I can give you orders right away. But don't forget to visit the Blades trainers. He reiterates the fact that you should go see some trainers. I don't know why, he shouldn't have said if you like, because that like makes it seem like it's optional. But he says if you like, you can go see some trainers. He says if you don't want to go see some trainers, you can do some crazy shit and go kill some stuff first. But like, I highly suggest you see those trainers first, bro. And that's kind of for a reason, because if you don't remember, we were a prisoner. And we were on a fucking ship. And if you don't remember how, like, you know, traveling on fucking ocean was back in the day, you ended up with, like, scurvy, malnourishment, all sorts of fucking shit. So, you're weak and deprived and unskilled and all of this shit. You're, like, some unskilled prisoner, just got off of a boat, doesn't know how to do anything. I'm like, the bottom line is that you are an unskilled fucking slave, right? Like, you don't have any skills. So when you try to use those skills against people who do have skills, you're gonna kind of have a bad time. And that's why he reiterates that you should probably do some fucking training because you don't have any skills. And the thing is, if you try to train your training on people who are already trained, you aren't going to get trained very fast. You're going to die. So anyways, though, we're not going to get into his orders just yet. We are going to heal, though, because... Are you shitting me right now? I didn't even murder anybody. I did murder somebody in Satanin. That's right. So that's why you don't murder people. Because basically in Morrowind, the first time you murder somebody, you'll get like a little pop-up that says like, oh, this was, your crime was seen by forces unknown or some shit like that, right? And then the Dark Brotherhood comes after you. But instead of them saying, you sleep rather soundly for a murderer, like in fucking Oblivion, instead of that, they just show up to assassinate you randomly when you sleep at night. And it is completely randomly. So luckily it's not every fucking night, but you'll just be like here like, oh god, I could really use some fucking rest so that I don't fucking die, right? And then instead of getting rest and healing, you get assaulted by a fucking, this guy. Let's see if I can actually survive this. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. So yeah, if something like that happens, you're just gonna want to like find somewhere else to sleep, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully I don't get another guy coming after me. And unlike in Skyrim and Oblivion, you can sleep anywhere you want. It doesn't matter if you're trespassing. It doesn't matter if the bed is owned by somebody or not. You can sleep in any bed at any time. I think it is still technically illegal, so you can get a fine for it possibly. Oh shit, that's right. We're fighting somebody. Forgot about that. Oh god, he heals too. But yeah, I think you can still get a fine for it, but it's worth noting that you can actually use any bed anytime. Doesn't matter if you're trespassing, doesn't matter if you own it. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Gotta love how now I have to fucking rest and heal again. But on the topic of these Dark Brotherhood guys, so if you do choose light armor, this is actually one of the best starter armor sets in the entire game. This is, I think, the second strongest set of light armor in the game. It's the only thing better than the Dark Brotherhood light armor is the glass armor, if I remember correctly. Not only that, but the whole set is actually worth a pretty penny, actually. And then we got a silver dagger, which, it's nice enough, I guess. But anyways, we're going to heal up again and hopefully not get assaulted again. And yeah, now that we have done that, what we're going to do, instead of doing some of the Caius Cascades quests, because those are like actual quests that require you to kill stuff, again, what you're going to want to do is do some of the training, right? But to do the training, you are going to want some money. And to get some money, you're going to want to do some quests, right? There's a couple ways that you can go about this. And it's going to kind of depend on your build, I guess. There's 3 main factions in the game as far as like guilds go. I mean, of course, there's more factions. But as far as like the actual guilds go, you have your Mages Guild, your Fighters Guild, and your Thieves Guild. There are other things like the Morag Tong, the Dark Brotherhood, which you cannot join in this game. You have like the Imperial Legion, all that sort of stuff, but the main focus is, at the beginning of the game at least, is probably going to be the main guilds, your Fighters, Mages, and Thieves Guild, which your Thieves Guild is down on the other side where Caius Cascades was, but it's going to be on the south edge there. I mean, it doesn't really matter, actually, if you're a warrior or mage or whatever. You could pretty much join any of the guilds, to be completely honest, but I probably wouldn't necessarily recommend the Fighters Guild because they are going to have you fighting stuff pretty much right away. The first quest, you're at least just killing rats, so it's not too bad, but once you get a little bit deeper, you're killing stuff pretty regularly, so might not be the best option right away. But what does actually happen to be a really good option is the Mages Guild, which will probably start with that one, actually. The Thieves Guild is also pretty good, too, because there's not a whole lot of killing people involved, but it does require you to be a skilled thief. Like if you're not able to correctly sneak around and steal stuff, you're gonna have kind of a bit of struggle with the Thieves Guild, so that's something to keep in mind. But the Mages Guild in particular, you don't really do a whole lot of killing in the Mages Guild, at least not early on. Most of it is just like gathering resources, like, oh, I need these ingredients for these potions, and oh, I lost this scroll and I need you to find it. Stupid stuff like that. So it's extremely perfect for somebody just starting out at the game who just needs to make some money for training and doesn't want to get caught up in some fight that they're going to lose, right? So even though we are a warrior build, we are going to join the Mages Guild. Don't worry about the Mages Oath. I don't know why they ask you about all this crap, but I guess it's just for role playing, right? So anyways, though, we joined the Mages Guild. Well, we'll start doing some quests for them soon. But before we get too deep into doing quests for them, I do want to show you guys the travel system for the Mages Guild and one of the places it can take you to, which is the Caldera Guild of Mages. Now, the Caldera Guild of Mages itself isn't very exciting, and there's not really anything important about it per se, but what makes Caldera important is that it is the location of the best merchant in the game. There is technically another merchant, so there's two special merchants in this game. You have the mud crab merchant and the scamp merchant. Now both of these merchants, actually I think only the scamp merchant will buy anything and everything, but both of these merchants will buy stuff for its maximum value. But not only that, but they have the highest cash stacks of any merchants in the game. So the scamp trader has 5,000 gold supply. The mud crab merchant has 10,000 gold supply. But anyways, it's the perfect place to sell loot. Like if you ever get something crazy like a Dark Brotherhood set, or like a crazy weapon or armor that you're not going to use, or in the case of alchemy, if you start making a whole bunch of potions that you want to sell, this is where you go to do it. So you can see here, made a quick and easy 3,000 gold. Didn't even have to sleep 10 times to do it. And yeah, it's as easy as that. But as far as money making in this game goes, this is gonna be like, this is basically gonna be your mecca. You're always gonna be returning here for your money making strategies. Pretty much no matter which strategy you use, you're gonna be coming here to sell your loot or whatever, right? Fuck it, I guess really, since money making is important right away, we might as well just jump into the alchemy bit of it if we can real quick. So the other important thing about Caldera here is that you have a place to purchase alchemical ingredients that is right near the scamp trader. Oh, which by the way, I never really finished my thought about the scamp and mud crab merchants. So the mud crab merchant is really, really far away and in like a really inconvenient place. Fuck, I don't even remember. I don't have a bunch of stuff on my map. But I feel like it's somewhere down here somewhere. It's somewhere, but basically it's like in the ocean, and you have to like kind of do a bit of walking to get there, and you have to like find the right island. And you get to the right island, you find the mud crab merchant. He does have 10,000 gold instead of the 5,000 gold, but because he's in the wild, you're subject to get attacked by monsters and shit. So like, let's say you sell something, let's say you have more than 10,000 worth of stuff to sell, right? Let's say you sell your first 10,000, and then you're gonna sleep for fucking 24 hours to get his gold back. Well, your rest is gonna get interrupted like 9 times out of 10, and it's gonna be the most fucking annoying thing. So really, you're gonna be able to sell things a lot more efficiently using the scamp trader, just because like you're in a house, not in the wild. Moving on, here we are up at the top of this little tower here behind our alchemical friend, and what we have here is an entire master's alchemy set. Now this is stealing, so you know, do what you want, I guess, but it is stealing. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk to this guy, and he has a couple ingredients that we can use infinitely. So as you can see here, we have violet copperness. We have 5 of those, and they give us water walking. And we also have the ampoule pod, 5 of those, which also give us water walking. So the 2 of these will give us a water walking spell. But check this out. So we buy these, and if we go back, you'll notice that they replenish. Now, I don't know if every ingredient merchant in the game has a replenishing stock, but basically there's only going to be like 1 or 2 alchemical ingredients per alchemy tradesman, I guess, that will be replenishing. So these 2 replenish, but the rest of them don't necessarily replenish, and most likely won't replenish. So it takes a lot of trial and error to kind of figure out which ones replenish and which ones don't. I think the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages does actually have a list of replenishing ingredients and where to find them. But the main thing about replenishing ingredients is not only do they just replenish so you can keep buying them, but you can actually change the amount at which they replenish. So any amount that he holds will become the new amount that replenishes. And I think it only goes up, it can't go down. So if we sell the 5 of those back to him, we do lose a little money there actually. But what you'll notice that he now has 10. And if we buy those 10 back, instead of him getting 5 to replenish, he now has 10 that replenish. And you can keep repeating these steps, giving him more and more replenishing stock until you have just an insane amount that you can use for alchemy, really. So anyways, 2020, he's replenishing 20 now. We do that. He should be replenishing 40 now, which is awesome. As you can see, he's replenishing 40 now. We'll do the 80. And we'll do another 80. So now you'll see we're over encumbered, but that's fine because we're going to be making a bunch of potions anyway. So what we're going to do is we're just going to throw these bad boys on here, and we're going to do a whole bunch of clicking. Now you'll notice a lot of them fail, but not all of them will fail. You'll get some that succeed and some that fail. That's just kind of what it's like at earlier levels. But this is why we chose alchemy as a minor skill, because not only will we get a whole bunch of potions and a whole bunch of money for this, but what also happens is we get character levels from this. So every 10 alchemy levels we get is going to be a character level that we gain. which is super handy for just starting out the game because it allows you to raise like your health and your fatigue and your strength and your speed very easily early on in the game. Now, it's not going to be the most efficient leveling of your attributes and all that stuff, so technically you're not going to be setting yourself up the best for like the long term. But as far as like the short term and the context of like a first time playthrough goes and just trying to like really get as much of an advantage as you can in the easiest way you can, this is probably the best way to do it. Again, it's not really the most recommended, which we'll get into the intricacies of the leveling system probably in the next video or the video after that. Generally speaking, you want to do what they call efficient leveling to maximize the amount of attribute points you get per level. Basically, to get the max bonus for each attribute, which the max bonus is 5, you need 10 levels in that governing attribute. So let's say you wanted the max attribute bonus for strength, you would have to level up, say, your heavy armor 10 times or your long blade 10 times to get the 5 bonus, right? So if you're not getting those bonuses every level, you're missing out on a fuck ton of attribute points because the default is 1 attribute points, but you can get a maximum of 5 attribute points per attribute per level, right? Which again, we'll get into that in some future videos when we actually get some level ups going on. But that's worth noting when it comes to using something like alchemy to level up your characters, that you are going to be missing out on some of those efficient levels. Again, though, I will explain that in much more detail in a future video. You'll see here we made a quick $1,000 off of just that 1 round of alchemy. And that's going to be your main moneymaker at the beginning of the game, or really just in general. Were you standing there the whole time, dude? What the fuck are you doing? But yeah, that's going to be your main moneymaker in this game is alchemy. And then, of course, selling any, like, you know, major price items that you come across that you don't want, like armors, weapons, that sort of thing. But really what you're going to be focusing on is your alchemy, which is not only going to make you just absolutely fucking stinking rich, but it's also going to help level up your character level, which is just, in general, a good thing to do. But now that we do have some money, we actually can do some level ups and stuff. So we're going to be heading back to Balmora. We'll probably go to the Fighters Guild and join the Fighters Guild just so I can use their training. And then we'll probably just leave the video there and hit training in the next video. Because I'm probably going to want to go a lot more in depth into training than I'll be able to do at the end of this video here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get signed up for the Fighters Guild. And I think we'll leave it at that. So anyways, that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like. It definitely helps me out. And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to this channel if you want to check out any more of this content or any of my other gaming content for that matter. And of course, as always, for as little as 99 cents a month, you can become a channel member, help support this channel monetarily, help me pay some bills around here, that sort of thing. Yeah, with that being said, it's been Plock the Master Gamer with some Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.